Good morning, Oakley, Kansas. Good morning, America. This is Justin at Logan County Hospital in Oakley, Kansas, speaking today with Dr. Subir Ray, who is a resident surgeon at the Logan County Hospital. And we're going to find out about how a surgeon with such an illustrious background found his way to the middle of the country and what it's like to live part-time, at least, in Oakley, Kansas, and serve this community. So thank you so much for talking to me and for your service to Logan County.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I wanted to ask, opening up, can you tell me about the types of surgeries you do? Like, what is the work that you do here at Logan County Hospital?
Good. So, general surgery is a very broad spectrum of surgery. You can have breast surgery, used to be by general surgeon, and anything in the abdomen, skin lesions, everything else. Really, it was a hodgepodge. Over the years, over the last 25, 30 years, I've seen that it really took a lot of different branches. For example, breast surgery, it doesn't really done by a general surgeon anymore. There are specific breast surgeons who does day and night. And before, it used to be all male surgeon, but now it's almost all female.
For breast surgery?
For breast surgery, So that developed. And then we're talking about colorectal surgery. They're just doing colorectal. However, general surgeons still involved in colorectal surgery. And of course, in your abdomen, hernias, gallbladder, appendix. One thing that I do that is different from other surgeon is a laparoscopic surgery. And only for that reason, Justin, that I am here today and not in a big city. Because if I were to do all open surgery, I cannot be here because there's not enough volume. Not only volume, the complication is much higher for this small place to handle for an open surgery. Sometimes after open surgery, patient needs to be intubated for a little while. There's not really a inpatient anesthesiology that stay here, residents here. So I had to do something so I can still do a lot of big surgeries and still have good outcome.
And can you describe what is laparoscopy?
Laparoscopic is nothing. That is putting a small camera inside the abdomen and do the exactly identically same surgery as you were to that open.
Without cutting into the body?
Without cutting into the body. Just make small holes. To be honest with you, give an example. Hiatal hernia surgery, that is called, technical name is Nissen fundoplication, is the best, is the gold standard for hiatal hernia patient. We used to do that by open. 100% of these patients will end up in the unit, in the intensive care unit. And it's a big surgery. Then the laparoscopic surgery came in. They're tiny, half centimeter incision, just 5 of them, and do the entire procedures identical, if not better.
Without ever cutting
it.
Wow.
That's what makes this surgery so interesting, and we can do in Oakley, I have done 82 years old, 85 years old, and they go home on the same day. Don't even stay overnight. I presented a paper, first time, the American College of Surgeons, that we are sending patients home after a gold standard operations, Nissen fundoplications. They were surprised to say, wow, So, and we've been doing that for the last 25 years.
Wow.
And getting a great results.
That's great.
Yeah.
And do you have a team when you go into a surgery like this? You don't have anesthesia, but what do you need?
Oh, you have anesthesia.
Oh, you do.
You're going to go to sleep.
Okay.
Laparoscopic surgery cannot be performed without complete sleep.
Okay.
Because you blow the belly with the air, so that because it's so packed inside, it's like a forest. If you go in the forest and the trees are all next to you, you can't see the forest. So you have to get away and blow up the abdomen with air.
Okay, so that would probably hurt.
It's not as much as hurt, but you can't breathe if you stay awake. That's the reasons we put all of them to sleep. But they wake up just like that. Give an example. The patient goes for 4 hours of this surgery. You turn the gas off, you take the gas off, they're breathing and they're walking. It doesn't matter how long their surgery really took. It's the cut. If you don't cut, you can do anything inside. My goodness. When I'm beginning, this laparoscopic surgery really took me a long time away from my family. One single hernia that I do now 30 minutes, I took 6 hours. I look at those taped cases and I says, what are you doing over there? What are you doing over there? It's a big, steep learning curve. But once you master it, you can close your eyes and do it.
Do you have a recording of every surgery you've done?
Used to.
Wow.
Oh, yes. I have tapes, cassettes. You have no idea. I enjoy it when I have
So you're like a football coach. You got to go back in and see what I did right and what I did wrong.
Not only that, what was I doing? Let me just see this one 6 hours. What was I doing? Okay. So I wasn't sure that much. I wasn't comfortable. But now you know all your areas so well. It's just, heck with it. Just do it. Yeah, that's the way. All surgeons,
right,
when they're starting and they're novice and they just graduated, they don't want to do anything that will jeopardize their whole life. They take time. And that's why I recommend to a lot of people, don't go to a surgeon who is young, who just started. Go to one who is 50 years old.
Right.
They have seen everything. Don't do it. So that's the thing. Yeah.
And you can do that right here in Oakley, Kansas.
Hey, what's a better place?
How do people find their way to you? Is it local? What is the process by which a person becomes recommended to you? And then sometimes, very often, I see people from outside the community traveling here.
Right. So there's two things. One is the local people, okay? And that they don't know because of 20 years, they have not done any surgery in this area. So you have to reach to them by newspapers, radio, whatever it is. You have to let them know that we have surgeons who will do these procedures.
Right. You're saying people in Oakley don't even know that you're here.
Right. And there's still some. I just saw 2 weeks ago a patient that says, when do we have a general surgeon in here? I went to Oakley and then my doctor says, you don't have to go to Oakley. Dr. Ray is here. What? So there are patients who don't pay attention in this area because they're healthy, otherwise go on their way. Yes. So that is a different problem. For Amish to follow me wherever I go goes back when I was practicing in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
When I was in Pennsylvania, I went to their barn, stood there, and told them that if you have surgery by me, you can go back to work within 24 hours. No restriction, none. I knew how much work meant to them because they're all labor intensive job they do. So I told them, and they were convinced, and I proved it to them that if you do it without cut, hernias, Nissen fundoplications for heartburn, gallbladder, appendix, I go home same day and compete with anything they want to do. I had a girl cheerleader who had an appendicitis and took her. I says, you can go to Florida and compete. And she did. And wow. She was from Italy, and she was a visiting student. And I still talk to her. And she says, that's unbelievable how you can let them go home same day. But anyway, besides the point that, yes, that's how the Amish follow me no matter where I go.
Yeah, and I'll just give context for the audience. If you live here in Oakley, you will see the Amish population often staying for the night out to sleep in, right. And they typically walk into town, a group of 5 or 6 of them, and if you see them, that there's somebody in their family is visiting Dr. Ray.
Correct.
And so you would say that Amish, is it mostly Pennsylvania or
No,
over the country?
All over the country. They come in from Ohio, from Oklahoma, from Missouri, from Vermont, New York. Mm-hmm. But if you talk about mostly from Pennsylvania, because that's what their population is, most of the,
Right.
there. Yeah.
And you were at a hospital in Pennsylvania that was nearby. How did you come to know about this need for this group of people?
Because, okay, you're right that near my hospital, an hour and a half away, Lancaster, Harrisburg, Lancaster, at that distance. And I had a office secretary who was very, very good, excellent. Name is Georgianne. And she gave me the idea. Says, Dr. Ray, they pay cash. You don't have to deal with the insurance company. And if you can please them, what you do, and they believe in it, then you have a population that really, and I did it. I took her advice and I says, let's do it. I used to see in my hospital here and there Amish. They go to mostly Lancaster General Hospital, but at that time, no one did laparoscopic anything else except for gallbladder. Mm-hmm. That was I introduced. No. You want a hernia? Any kind of hernia? And at that time, when you do an open hernia, they routinely take 2 weeks, 3 weeks off, and then the incision can get infected. I have never seen one in 25 years that those fine holes that I make got infected.
None of your patients.
None of my patients. None. None. It's a big, big deal.
Big bonus.
Big bonus. Because they says, and when I told them, and this is what I told them, I told the hospital that I'm charging them this amount, and I'm going to tell the Amish it's a guaranteed repair for hernia. Guaranteed. If it comes back, I pay for it, the full amount. Not yet. I've not done one yet that I have to pay for it. But I was so confident about what I learned this and what I have to look for it to come back. That is, I can guarantee anybody who has hernia, no, you're not going to get it back. Wow. No other surgeons in the United States, or for the matter the world, will say it's a guarantee. No. There's no guarantee. It's a guarantee.
This is one and only.
Only. And only thing is, if there gets infection, I can't take it responsible for that. That is not my problem, because everybody has body habit as what. But in terms of recurrence, I'll take responsibility. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the infection rates are lower by a mile compared to open surgery.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just that it's still a possibility.
That's right.
Right. That's right. Well, this is a very specialized skill set, and you have it seems like you could be anywhere in the world. Can you describe your path to Oakley, Kansas?
Okay. So it's a little long story, but let me tell you that I thought when I came to this country, you work hard. And believe me, American dream is what you're seeing, okay? You work hard and you make it for yourself.
You were born in India.
Yes. And I came at the age of 17, 18 years old. And I went to undergraduate at UNH, University of New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. And I got to Dartmouth for my medical school and then training in Columbia and so forth. Forget about that. The thing is, when I didn't really know what I was going to do after finishing my general surgery residency.
Because was at Columbia.
Columbia. Then my last year was at Harrisburg. Okay. I came back. And that's where I met my wife. And I says, what am I going to do? My father and mother both died, which were both physicians. Mm-hmm. One was gynecologist, one was a pediatrician. They matched. And but I didn't get, I don't know where to turn to for advice. Which field should I go? I was open to everything. So then I thought I was going to go to France to do liver surgery, because one surgeon named Dr. Henry Bismuth, mm-hmm. is the pioneer. And I spoke to him one day after a conference. Said, okay, come on over. So I went over there. But then while I was there, one of the Ethicon representative took me to see this guy who was master at that time, master in the world about laparoscopic surgery. So I went and I gave up hepatic. I says, no, this is my dream. So I did it. But when I came back after my fellowship, the hospital wanted me to teach everybody for free. And that's when I said, well, why free? You didn't pay a single penny. for me to go to France. You didn't pay. I asked you, can you subsidize me so I can come back and teach residents and surgeons? They didn't believe in it because at that time I told you nobody does hernia appendix. Nobody.
It just wasn't done in the United States yet.
Right.
France was sort of on the leading edge of this.
Correct. Because their litigations, their system is a little different than here. Okay.
We probably don't like to try new things because of our litigation.
Exactly. So
only proven things.
Correct.
Okay.
So anyway, I said, no, it's not going to happen for free. And at that time, I know that they are bringing some surgeons from California, flying them over to Harrisburg, pay them their sort of stay, rent, everything, and pay them $5,000 to $10,000 to teach them some colon surgery or some hernia or something. I says, I don't need all that, but I do need. You're going to have to pay me something.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like it. So they all went against me. There were times, believe me, I said, I'm losing it, to my wife that I met in Harrisburg and I got married. That says, let's get out of here. Let's get out of there.
But this was your first job. Well, your first job in the U.S.
Right. So I got out and I was doing some locums. Then I went to Iowa. And all those Amish followed me over there. And this place, Shenandoah Medical Center,
mm-hmm.
Still I talked to them. They were going down really bad. And I turned them in 3 years. There's so much money that they have no idea. Okay. But in the meantime, this, I don't want to go into details, but there were many things that the doctors against me did something. It's my fault, their fault. I'm not saying whose fault, but I had to move away from Pennsylvania to there. And after that, I got a call from the CEO over here that we need you because we heard what you did from other places and everything. I says, okay, I'll be there. I have no problem. And it doesn't matter how small area, how big area. If I know there is other people can follow me or do things that I needed to have done in a big surgery, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it.
So you got a call from the CEO of this hospital.
Yes.
Was that Mel Snow or
Correct.
his predecessor?
Mel Snow.
Okay, so Mel recruited you to just come part-time?
No,
to come and do this full-time job?
Full-time. And I said, okay. They didn't really believe me. I think Mel didn't really believe me. He says, you serious? He's going to come in and do hernias, gallbladder, appendix, colon resection for cancer. Hiatal hernia is the biggest complicated surgery that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
People would never even imagine doing it here. Wouldn't. But I said, yeah, Mel. And then they look at me. And I used to be full-time here. I never went home for months. Not even for a single day.
Right. And when you say home currently is Florida. But when you first got here, was your home in Ohio or?
No, here.
Home was here for a while.
At that time, home is here.
Right.
In Oakley.
What year did that happen? What year did you come here first?
Oh, 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 years ago. I stayed every single day. I didn't want to lose one patient. I want to make sure they understand that there is, and it's tremendous. So I turned them around. I turned this hospital around, and they're now building a new hospital. You know that. Okay?
Well, yeah, and I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
I had heard that the hospital's finances have been in poor shape, and I didn't know it was really before and after you got here. But now that you're
good.
Here, you feel like the finances are in good shape.
Yes.
And surgery is a big part of it.
Surgery is a big part because I know in other places you can do all that medicine. Orthopedics is another good one. I'm really trying to get orthopedics in because they bring in a lot of dough for the hospital. If they do just simple scope, simple surgeries that they have not done. But general surgery, endoscopies for colon, it's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Big thing. That makes money.
Right. And you believe that with a new hospital, we could expand the amount of services
Absolutely.
that we offer, and
Absolutely. Because this is
successful.
So archaic. This OR got to go. This is like I don't know, the ventilation system. I don't know, the light system is I do it because I don't mind. I can go to Africa and I do it. Give me a field, give me a table. As long as the anesthesiologist says, I'm okay to put the patient to sleep and wake them up. That's
Right.
my criteria. I says, I don't want to do anything unless the anesthesia is very comfortable doing cases as I do. Okay.
Right.
That's my only thing. That's it. But
Right.
everything else is, I'll take care of it.
But a new facility, you could expand the number of patients that you treat, and you feel like we could recruit other physicians.
Absolutely.
like yourself?
Absolutely. I think the orthopedics will come in. I will come in. Urologist will come in, and they are a big part of making the big
financial
yes success.
hospital.
Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting.
Okay. All right.
Can you tell me how you got interested in medicine? If you go back farther to your childhood, and
Okay.
I mean, obviously your family must have been a big influence.
Correct. In India, there's only two professions you can go into. Your parents have businesses, go to business. Parents are doctor, they all get a doctor. They are engineer, they all go to engineer. Okay, so these are the three. Lawyers, not that much profitable, but now it is. There's a lot of laws. At that time, nobody would go to dentist because dentist is a dying breed in India. Literally.
Really?
I don't even know to this point. We have 5 million people in our town. I don't know if one dentist is so successful because when we grew up, we never had sweets. So our teeth were never a problem. No, never. I've never had a cavity. I don't even know what cavity. I look at my wife. I says, what was that brown thing? That's cavity. Leave me alone.
So the U.S. dental problem is all because of Halloween.
Because of not Halloween, how early you start. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts with age 1, 2, 3, whatever. It's too much. Okay. So I knew I was going to go to medicine. Okay. Whether I was going to go to India or here is a different thing. And I tried in India. I didn't get in. So I'm going because my parents were here at that time. So I joined them. Although I knew that, boy, I'm going to lose 4 years again in college, which after high school, they go to medical school in India. But over here, after high school, you go 4 years of college, then you apply to medical school, which I did. Not a problem.
So you came here and did your undergraduate here.
Yeah.
But your parents had already emigrated.
Yes.
Right. And to the Pennsylvania
area. Correct. Oh, New Hampshire area.
Okay.
That's why I went to UNH.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's the reason.
That's
because
cool.
My father was living there at that time. So I said, okay, I'll go to UNH. But I knew my chances were very low. I says, how many UNH gets into Dartmouth? So Ivy League college. So I got to work twice as hard, get my grades really at 4.0 before I would be even consider, which I did. I worked very hard. I really do. I mean, even now, but I did work very, very hard to get into medical school. But I did. So I'm very happy.
And then you worked hard there. It's still going.
It's still going.
Was the Western Kansas culture a welcoming group of people? Did you feel like that we rolled out the welcome mat and that you've been able to feel at home in this community?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. I would not hesitate to go a few parts of the United States, Iowa, Kansas. They really are a gem. Doctors doesn't understand how nice the people are. I know. Just look at outside, open field, and that attracts me because India is a similar way.
Right.
Very similar way. The people are very nice and low crime. Yes. Yeah. That did attract me. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
If I were to have somebody coming from New York and ask me, I said, "What in New York? Upstate New York, where it's quiet, or is Manhattan?" Although I stayed in Manhattan and I did my residency. Okay. I says, I'm not sure I want to go back there. That's why in Florida, they asked me to come and it says, one of these days. I don't like.
Right. So you keep a home in Florida now.
Yeah.
But you are not practicing there. You don't.
No, not yet.
You're not really splitting your time between a job there and a job here.
Not yet. But I think there are some doctors I spoke to that they want to join me to their group and do something. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. So what do we need to do better in Oakley, Kansas to keep you in our good graces?
Okay. Let me just say one thing about I love work. That doesn't matter. If you give me $100 million right now, I'll still work. That's one thing very different from other people that they would just say that, Okay, I don't really need that anymore. I've done my no. I enjoy doing cases. So in that case, I will be doing cases until until I cannot do it anymore.
Mhm.
Okay, safely. Let's put it that way. So I found in Oakley that emergency cases very few and far. I told you I never went home for years for first 2 3 years.
Mhm.
But I found out that one appendix come in here, one gallbladder come in here. Was that really is a factor for me to be here? I said, no, I'm going to give those up, but I'm going to do all the other ones. So they agreed with me, and they now put cases together in a week rather than one today, one tomorrow, one tomorrow. So they do it, and I have no problem. I'll come in for 2 weeks. I'll go home for 2 weeks. I'll work as long as I can.
That's great.
That's the way I think I'm heading, because although it's not easy to drive down to Garden City to fly out all the time, it's not that bad. I used to do it from Denver, and I hated it because every time I come in at night at 12:30, one day I went to the median. I was fall asleep. I was, oh my goodness, that is horrible. But yes, so I would stay unless something else happened. Let me just say one thing, because this is recorded, so I better say exactly what. There is a company, I will not mention the name of the company. There is a company in the US, a very big company, who approached to me that they want to build a hospital in India if I would help them. Yes, that's a much bigger thing than doing surgeries in Oakley. And I do love somebody else to come into Oakley, learn everything that I do, and grow. Okay, even if I stay here for another maybe 10 years, but they should come in, and because it takes 10 years to get better.
Right.
So I told.
So we need to recruit an apprentice.
Right. And I told that. I says, get in now and learn, because laparoscopic surgery has a very steep curve. You're not going to just do it, okay? You're going to know the thing around, and then you'll have it. So you don't really have to.
Right.
So.
But you do need to probably train under somebody for a long period.
Correct. You have to see really what the little things that you have to avoid, not get into trouble, and things like that. But that one thing I have in my mind, if they do approach to me, I have to go for a few months, but I will always come back to Oakley if they have something for me.
That's really great to hear.
Okay.
For somebody that might be thinking of getting into medicine,
yes,
what advice do you have for people at the start of their career in figuring out where you want to go? Because there's so many avenues within medicine,
right?
Or even just choosing medical school.
Correct. Only one thing I have: work hard. There's no substitute. I don't care how smart you are or how dumb you are. If you work hard and you stay at it, and if you really want to, I can make the decision for you to say, I want to become a doctor. Because for me, I had both parents were doctors, so I knew I was going to go to medicine. But I knew I was going to be a surgeon. I knew, because I somehow, growing up, learning a few things, so that was easy for me. But there is no substitute. There is no way around working hard. And let me just say one thing, though, that is very important about my success. A lot of doctors now are coming out who wants to be in a big group. So they have their 9 to 5 off, doesn't matter. They would operate on patients, but if they go on a vacation, their partner would answer, oh yeah, Dr. So-and-so operated on me, but now I have this problem or that. Never in my lifetime, since 91 that I started, never I've been with anybody else. I always been my own. So anytime, if I'm in Bahamas, in Cancun, or India, I get the call from my patient. Always. There is no other doctors that covers me. So that were very a plus for my patients, that this doctor, no matter where, no matter when, if I call, I get to talk to him. And I will return my call. That never happened that somebody called and my office, I was busy in the OR and they didn't tell me. Or if I'm at 9 o'clock and my patient calls, I pick up the phone. There's no answering service. For me, there was no answering service. Everybody gets my number. Everyone that I operate or see gets my phone number, and I answer it. And that's why I think they like it more. That it's so. I mean, can you imagine having a surgeon's phone
Never
number?
heard of this.
That's right. To this day, when Amish calls, when Oakley have a lot of nurses, have system. I work for Oakley, so they take the calls, and then they call me and says, "Dr. Ray, this thing happened." But most of the times I was on my own. I was not part of the hospital in entire. So I always says, "That's me." So yes. You have no idea. From India, I used to always return the call for Amish. What happened? And who knows better than you, after having operated on somebody, knowing what you did? Your partner knows what I did? No.
Right.
My partner I did a surgery. Well, hey, if you do 10 same surgeries, 10 of them you did hard, easy. Yeah. So I know what I did and what could happen, what couldn't happen. That's the only way.
Right. It's not just a person looking at a chart.
Right. Know. What did he do? He didn't listen. Anything that he wrote about anything? No. Go to the emergency room. But I know their history. I know what I did. So I says, no, just don't do that and just continue to do that. Every single time it worked. Because I know them. I know their inside. I know their outside. So who better is going to tell my patient if they have a problem? And nowadays, Dr. A operates, he's off for the night. This patient comes to the emergency room after the surgery, Dr. B sees him. And do you know how many times I have seen in my residency or in my practice that patient's taken to the operating room again for exploration because he's in his pain? No. If I were to know this person, I operate on him, I would say, I did nothing to cause this problem. Get some pain medicine. You're a little bit too sensitive. I will give it to you. I never, ever say I had to take him back to the OR if I operate on him. But because I know. It's a simple thing. But I understand that I'm asking too much for a surgeon to sacrifice, which I done. And I'm almost a way out, so I change.
How many patients do you treat a week? And is it all laparoscopic surgery, or are there some
endoscopies, to colonoscopies, and somebody has heartburn, they want to do Nissen. I got to make sure that their stomach and esophagus, there's some measurement I do. So I do both of them. But otherwise, I do gallbladder, hernias, appendix. One thing I do that general surgeons don't do is carpal tunnel. It's a surgery that mostly done by neurosurgeons or orthopedics. But during my residency, one general surgeon did it. So I said, I got to look at this guy. I got to learn this because I would never be able to learn this again. So I keep going. Every single time he had a case, I would be there. And then that's why now I added this one here. There's a significant number of patients with the carpal tunnel syndrome that I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's even laparoscopically. That's even endoscopically, not laparoscopic. That's a wrong term. Laparo means in the belly. Endoscopic means making a small incision into the camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And on a monthly basis or weekly basis, how many patients do you typically treat?
It varies. Holidays time, slow. Other times, quite a few. But I told my nurses that you have no idea. No idea when I had my practice in Pennsylvania with Amish being very close and so forth. I've done 10, 15 surgeries a day, which people say, kidding me? I used to see 36 patients in my office, okay, 2, 3 times because I was busy. So I told them that that number is not a factor for me. Never been a factor. It's, as a matter of fact, I like it because I'm away from home. What am I going to do? Get bored, really bored. So I would rather operate, rather do cases. So that's never, they could never keep me busy. I always tell them.
Okay, so if patients want to have surgeries, there's open space
always
here
open. I mean, literally, they can find an opening any day.
And how does a person, if they want to be seen by you, do they need to be referred by their primary care physician?
Nowadays, the insurance mandatory.
Okay.
It used to be in the past, the patient has a good insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, or this and that, they can call themselves. They don't have to go anywhere, but not anymore. Every insurance company, you have to be referred by your medical doctor.
But if I'm a patient, I'm out here, I'm listening, I hear, and I would like this, they could go to their primary care and say, I would like to pursue or explore surgery with Dr. Ray in Oakley, Kansas.
Absolutely.
And that primary physician could call this hospital, who would put them on your schedule.
Correct.
And do you do like, since it's like with the Amish, like, how do you make sure that you are the right person to treat them before they make the trip all the way out here?
Sure. So there are things. First of all, Amish don't need any referral.
They can just call the hospital
because they pay cash. When you pay cash, you don't need to go to anybody. Okay. You just pick up the phone and call me. Okay.
Is there a price list on the website?
No. No, because you know what? They're so appropriate, because if I tell them, your hernia was the most difficult hernia that I've done, and literally, and they would not mind if I charge them more. If I charge them less for a simple, straightforward, they appreciate it. That I'm not one that want to screw them up because they pay cash. I always tell them that and they're so understanding that, and they always says, Dr. Ray, you're not God, but I understand the problem that can happen. And that is it is very nice to hear that these guys understand that everything has a risk. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But another thing is, when they cannot watch any TV, never can listen to the radio, never can see a phone. They have to go to some place to call, and they can talk. But they don't carry their own phone. That's Amish. So they only have a newspaper that everybody reads.
So you advertise in their paper?
Correct.
Okay.
It's the newspaper that thick.
Really?
And yes, I have a copy of my office.
Oh, we got to get this for like our website.
Yes. Cool. It's a huge newspaper. You just advertise in that newspaper. They will know. And you just tell them that you used to do surgeries on them in Pennsylvania.
And I'm sure word of mouth is big for them.
Yes. Big. You screw up, forget it. But you said what year it is, and they will be back. Mm-hmm. No matter, sometimes I always hear the doctor 10, 15 years ago, you did my surgery, but my husband has it, or my son has it. Where are you now? They're making the trip. Whether by train, they come to Garden City, we pick them up at the train station, or they come by drive all the way. Mm-hmm. That's their choice.
Yeah, I hope we're good hosts to their whole clan, because they don't come alone.
No, they don't come alone. Rarely, they do come alone. But most of them they find other people to come in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're not Amish and you do have regular insurance, just talk to your primary care and mention where you'd like to go, and they could do research on your procedures and just get a referral.
And that goes to my nurses, and they really know exactly how I do things and what I'm looking for, and they'll give you a consult date.
And let's say that there's a physician out here that hears this and says, I think I would like to apprentice as a
Absolutely.
at what stage do you make that call? Is that like in residency or is it after residency and you're like, now I want to specialize?
I think the residency is the best because they still didn't become a full-fledged surgeon. Once you become a full-fledged surgeon, it's very difficult to change unless you still just graduated like me.
So there's residency for laparoscopy?
That's correct.
Okay.
Laparoscopic fellowship. But now, let me tell you, so many doctors are doing it in their hospital. They don't need to do that fellowship anymore. It's just everybody is now doing, at least some colorectal surgeons endoscopically doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Nissens, they're doing it. So fellowship is still available, but you can get all the training in your hospital.
So if you graduated as a general surgeon, decided you wanted to specialize,
then
this is a good path to do.
Absolutely. I think that, as I mentioned that it is a steep hill. It's not that easy, but once you do it, it's pretty entertaining to me.
It sounds like you have fun.
Yes. If I didn't have fun, a long time ago I would have gone.
Like, do you get done with the day and you're like, I did a good job today?
Sometimes in the back of my mind says it was difficult, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are some. You can ask the nurses. There are some cases. 87-year-old with a bowel obstruction, and they're the most difficult cases to do because when your bowels are big inside, even though you put some gas in, not much space, and to handle those bowels and find out where the obstruction is challenging. Even to this day and age, there are bigger hospitals. The surgeon will say, "No, I'm going to open up. I'm not going to take the risk of being laparoscopic surgery."
But it seems like there's a big risk on both sides.
Yeah, but doing it laparoscopically, it's more risk of tearing the bowel because they're dilated anyway. So you grab them because you have to run the entire bowel to see where it's blocked. That's the hardest part. And I do respect that those cases, absolutely. But you got to see some clips that I have done. Incarcerated means a hernia that has, and the bowel got stuck, and you cannot push the bowel back in. And how we did it laparoscopically, it's incredible. I can show you that video.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like a case study, like we could share with other people.
Yes, because there's no name, nothing. So just a case.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, this episode, we're approaching the Thanksgiving season and the holiday season. Have any thoughts on what are you thankful for after a lifetime of this type of work?
For all the food that this country has to offer, they're very fortunate. This country is so fortunate to have abundance of food. So I would let everybody know that those who are needy, to help them and enjoy the holidays.
And for your home country or your adopted country, any New Year's wishes?
I would love to get something done next year, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to keep it under. But I am looking forward to have a new. I developed a product.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I developed it on my own, and I would be selling it by that next year. So there's a lot of excitement, a lot of hope, and a lot of work that in ahead of me.
All right. Yep. Yeah. So there's not just laparoscopy in your world. There's you keep your mind active and looking at new things. An entrepreneur.
Yes.
Living the American dream.
That's exactly right.
And you kind of have lived the American dream.
That's right.
As an immigrant.
That's right. And I tell everybody that this is a country where if you want to do it, you can do it, even to this day.
That's cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, for your service to this country and to the community. I think Logan County and Oakley are very appreciative that you are here and trying to make our lives better.
It's my pleasure. Really, it has been a wonderful journey, and I'm enjoying it every day.
That's great.
Okay.
So nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Have a good Thanksgiving and a Happy New Year, everyone
Happy
out there.
New Year. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All the things.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's Justin with Dr. Subir Ray signing off for Seeking Context.